All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our special call strategic retreat meeting, September 18th, September 20th, Saturday. We have a call to order indication and our pledge of allegiance.
Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for allowing us to all gather here. Lord, we ask that you be in the midst of this meeting, and we thank you for allowing us all to make it here safely. Amen. As you bless this meeting. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we get a roll call?
Dr. Lewis? Mr. McGee?
Here.
Reverend Williams?
Here.
Mr. Morgan?
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a report.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Item number 1, motion to approve the August 2025 consent agenda. We have a motion.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion. Do we have any public comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next item, motion to approve the September 2025 consent agenda. Have a motion.
Motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion.
We'll turn to tab 4, page 4. As of the end of August 31st, we had no changes in our CD balances currently. Checking account balance was $27,338. The money market was $1,156,26, and our receiver was $82,371. On page 5, accounts payable was $22,000, and you can see current year changes in net assets was $224,308. Page 6, you can see revenues year to date. The first 8 months was $716,657. Our budget was $600,000, so we're very well ahead of budget. The operating expenses were $286,666. The budget was $234 for the first 8 months. The items that were off mainly have to do with timing, and as we discussed in the last meeting, the approved expenditure for the legal fees for Ms. Sandy's attorney, which will at year end we'll have to do some budget amendments to take care of those things. Our special events and grants are $223,50 through August. So you see we've got a $224,308 profit. So doing very well year to date. On page 8, this comparison to last year, revenues are up $96,303. Our expenditures are actually about $37,000 less, and we've expended about $40,000 less on events year to date. So we've got a $224,000 profit versus a $43,000 profit last year. So basically, a $181,000 swing to the good. So financially, everything is looking very well for 2025.
Thanks, sir. Any public comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 3, motion to authorize the executive director to conduct all pre-purchase assessments related to potential acquisition of a building. These assessments may include obtaining professional appraisals, commissioning a phase 1 environmental site assessment, arranging for property inspection, and conducting a title search. The executive director shall present findings and recommendations to the board before any purchase negotiations take place. Have a motion?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Do you have any updates to the properties that we're still looking or?
No, so right now, we're at a standstill until we get this done. Once we get this done, we can try to make a, offer.
This is for the professional building across from the courthouse.
Yes.
Judge Reed.
And if that, because that's our first choice on the list of priorities. The other, we're still researching those, vacant lots, Terry Williams, that you suggested. Or even you did. So, you know, we're looking into that, but we're gonna focus on this one.
Okay.
We have the conceptual plans, I think I shared it with, each of you. So you can see what we're trying to do a big thing in that building, that raising bottom lines. And then also, consider purchasing the building attached to it, to possibly make it parking.
Right.
But until we get this appraisal, where it's makes sense.
All right, any other discussions? Any public comments? All right, all in favor? Well, I'm sorry, do we timeline, do we have like a timeline, next step then?
The next step, so let's do the comments, next week, Monday morning.
Oh.
I'm going to do the appraisal. And we're gonna do it.
Now, all in favor? Any opposed? Next item, motion to authorize the executive director to take all necessary actions for GAEDA's participation in the 2025 Bayou Classic Business Expo, including not limited to registering organization, coordinating logistics, allocating funds for the exhibit, and promotional expense. I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Motion.
Discussion.
Second, sorry. Do the motion, please.
I motion.
What I want to do, Mr. Chair, is offer amendment to the motion. The amendment to have a dollar amount. You see how it says the allocated fund for exhibit and promotional expenses. I would like to add an amendment to that motion to have not to exceed a set amount, whether it's $8,000 or whatever.
This question first would be, what do we need? Do we have promotional items?
Well, most of
How,
the items would be in our, budget list, you know, just buying stuff. But as far as going to the, expo, the hotel room and stuff like that, that's per diem, that's what our rules say to go by. So that's why the dollar amount in there, we won't exceed that.
What was it, do we have registration costs?
I don't, is there registration cost?
Good morning. Good morning.
No, there's not.
Now, as far as, is it gonna be like a booth or a table, or how does that work? I mean,
We're waiting on the packet, they're running a little bit behind, it's supposed to come in August, our registration packet. But I'll know that when I receive that, but I think it's, 2 days.
Is it outside?
It's inside.
okay.
I forget.
Like how they do the job fair?
They used to do the job
riverfront?
fair,
Yeah,
right.
okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right, that'd be cool.
And I've also invited board members, and again, this is in our budgeted items, our travel expenses. So if you wanna go, but like, we do not go over, if the hotel room is $200 and the per diem is $178, we don't go over that, and that just keeps us off of funny things with our audit. So, but if a board member would like to go, please let me
Yeah.
know, so I can get travel advances ready. And, I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so,
I have company.
Who's going to be at the booth?
myself, Ms. Hamlin, and any board member.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay.
This is more.
So the Business Expo, it runs in conjunction with the Bayou Classic weekend, so everybody knows the rivalry game between Southern and Ramblin', and it's organized by the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation in partnership with the Bayou Classic. And usually it's gonna take place at the Hyatt Hotel, where, that's the southern hangout, I would say, where everybody in the southern only, the host hotel. And it's on that Friday, after Thanksgiving. So, it matters, I think, for this organization because it deals with visibility, it gives you an audience, it draws alumni, visitors, and so on and so forth. And it gives GAEDA visibility in terms of spotlight in Alexandria. There's going to be a lot of foot traffic, and most importantly, I think it'll be a great networking opportunity for GAEDA to attract people to the city. But Reverend Williams, I think the motion is dealing with promotional items and exhibit, allocated funds for exhibit. What Ms. Bernardo was talking about is costs and, sorry?
Hello?
Oh. Just have it for just a second.
Yeah, I couldn't,
So
on from another computer because I couldn't see anything, I couldn't hear anything.
okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear
Are
you.
you gonna have
Yeah,
like,
that's
community campus, anything like that,
Yeah,
everything?
working with it together, for information to promote the city as a whole. Banners, pamphlets, cards, flyers, and that's also. We used to go with the city and the, CBD and even the air park as a point and everything. We haven't been in a while, so this would be like two cents to the
Okay.
for us to be back out there, start sharing Alexandria.
So this is for, to do the marketing, right? So we giving her the funds to buy.
So, yeah.
It's really giving me the authorization to attend.
As well.
Yeah, it's promotional stuff, it's not strictly for like classes, it's made as a whole person, every event that we want to participate in. Because all our stuff is outdated. Or broken.
Any other discussion from commissioners? Public comments?
What motion is on the floor? Because he offered an amendment, and we need to deal with the amendment first, and then if it fails, we need to, it goes back to the original motion. If it passes, the original motion fails, so we have two motions on the floor. The original motion and the motion that was offered by, Reverend Williams.
The amendment is not addressing the travel expenses. It's just putting a cap on the promotional expenses.
Number there. Oh, he wants the amended to have a number of dollar
To
amounts.
receive $8,000. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I don't think we're going to receive $8,000, but just to have a number there. So it's not like free range. I agree.
So, Dr. Lewis, you would.
How much are you expecting it to cost, or do you have a projected estimate?
No more than 5 banners.
So 8,000, okay, not to exceed 8,000.
All right, so the substitute motion is a motion to authorize the executive director to take all necessary actions for GAEDA's participation in the 2025 Bayou Classic, Expo, including but not limited to registering the organization, coordinating logistics, allocating funds for the exhibit, promotional items in the amount not to exceed
8,000.
$8,000.
Motion.
We have a second. I'll second it. On the roll call, voted.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. McGee,
Yes.
Reverend Williams,
Yes.
and Ms. Morgan.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you, Matt. Item number 5, motion to authorize GAEDA to enter a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Mid-Louisiana Regional Chamber of Commerce to collaborate on joint initiatives including business development programs, community engagement efforts, and regional economic development events, with the ED authorized to finalize and execute said agreement. With a motion, I'm sorry. We have a motion for that item.
Motion.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion.
I have, Rick Horton here, he'd like to come to the podium. And he's Vice President of the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce, which is under the umbrella of the Louisiana, Chamber of Commerce, who's actually sponsoring the
Okay.
Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir.
First of all, I'd like to thank God for allowing us to gather together today in this occasion. And I also like to thank the board members here for your attention in this matter. I am Richard Horton, retired from the military, also retired from Louisiana State Police. I'm a businessman right here within the community and an investor right here within the community of Alexandria. I'm currently the Vice President of Mid-Louisiana Regional Chamber of Commerce. Our President is Ms. Renee White-Goolsby, who was previously a member of the GAEDA board, but she has recused herself from any relationships or anything related to this matter and because of her time. Although she's past the 2-year time period, we still want to make sure we have that time spread out, that there be no conflict of interest in relationships. Mid-Louisiana Regional Chamber of Commerce has been around since 2019. Of course, with COVID happening and everything, it started up and then had to reconstitute itself back in 2022 underneath the Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Foundation, they received grant money for economic development within the state of Louisiana to start chambers throughout the state. We have chambers in a couple of them in New Orleans, Monroe, Shreveport, Lafayette, Lake Charles, all over the state of Louisiana. So it's not just us that you'll have a relationship with, you have a relationship with all the chambers throughout the state of Louisiana. One of the main things that we do, we currently have 7 board members, and we're getting ready to increase it to 2 more board members, which are going to be corporate board members that we're going to bring in. So we'll increase our number to 9. Our mission is to actually connect small businesses, collaborate with those small businesses within our community to help educate them and move them forward in their business ideas and make the connections with others in collaboration. Currently, we dealt with small business such as Dempsey Systems, which is a small business here. We deal with technology. He was having issues related to his capacity and how to build a capacity. So what we did, we connected him with a global supplier that's actually, and now he's doing very well in relation to that and providing technology and equipment all over the world to this day. And that same global supplier is actually wanting to come to Alexandria, looking at doing a grocery store here in Alexandria because within the food desert area, which is the 71302 area code, and we've received a grant to begin technical assistance with that and collaborating with, of course, yourself as a government entity, which is going to be a great part in instituting making sure that we're ready to go forward with this. The grant was in reference of $95,000 that we received through the Healthy Food Finance Initiative, which is a part of the Farm Bill, which is handed down. And so they manage the monies for the Farm Bill. So we're looking at from there, we're looking at getting another grant, which is around $250,000, and then of course financing through low interest financing. Like I said, one of the things we want to try to do is to help businesses understand their value. And we bring the businesses in to do evaluation on them and so they understand their value, what their assets are, and how they can utilize those assets and value within their business to grow their business. And so we take them through the evaluation process, and then we connect them with banks such as B1 Foundation, which they host a class that they go through for probably about 6 months long class that they'll attend 1 day a week. And they'll go through all their financials and establish themselves to set up for their credit records and credit ratings and put them all in line so they act, so although they're a small business, they'll have the attitude of a large corporation. And that way, that bank, once they finish that course, that bank is actually able to lend them money directly. So through that course. Also with connecting them with Hope Federal Credit Union, which is a bank directly associated with small businesses, and especially with the Black community, and doing things for economic development and housing, financial literacy, and providing them with the opportunity to lend to them based on their policies within Hope Federal Credit Union. These things we're bringing to the table with you and collaborating with you with the GAEDA board and trying and bringing more businesses into the area, helping those in the area also grow, go to that second level of business, and for economic development here, and in turn bring more relationships into this area, especially in the farming industry. This is a big farming area right here, and we have collaborations with local suppliers of farm products. Got this person out of Canada wants okra, and we grow okra around here like crazy. So all of these things that we're bringing to the table to collaborate with you and make this awesome relationship. Thank you.
I want the fork to the never agreement is behind tab 5 in the binders. I want to draw your attention to the financial terms. Any specific financial contribution by GAEDA shall require prior GAEDA board approval. So there's no money right now being asked for. It's simply partnering so we can start doing some of the things that you mentioned, especially workforce workshops that Mr. McGee has been talking about a whole lot, luncheons and stuff like that, so we can meet that business aspect that we've been trying to do for so long instead of just granting. We also have Will Campbell, I forgot the name of this group.
B1 Foundation.
And because we're looking at educating ourselves on business investment districts. Mr. Will, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, you can. If you will introduce yourself.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Will Campbell. I am the director of B1 Foundation. We are the community outreach arm of B1 Bank. Thank you, Mr. Richard. And thanks to everybody for allowing us to come on this morning. I guess, Richard, we'll go ahead and kind of talk about the program. Am I correct?
Yes.
I can't hold it here. Okay.
Yes.
Well, B1 is a $10 billion bank based out of Baton Rouge. We have 45 branches in the state of Louisiana. We just bought another bank in Louisiana. We're also in Dallas and in Houston. But very have a heart to help the community in the areas of financial literacy and entrepreneurship. We've been working very closely with Mr. Horton and his team to bring economic development to the different areas in the state, and we definitely want to do something in in Alexandria. I want to talk about the program that we have, like our Sales Academy for small businesses, that we take them through a training class from like 9 to 2, teaching them business planning, credit ready, where they understand business and personal credit, how to structure their business from a legal standpoint, how to understand business financial statements, and also breaking the lending code on how to come to the bank to get the money. Once we take them through that course, we get them a certificate afterwards, and then we give them aftercare. If they're not ready to get bankable, we teach them how to get bankable, and once they're bankable, we either get them with B1 Bank or one of our partners, based on a CDFI credit union. So it's not about our bank, it's about getting the people to access the capital that they need. We've helped over 3,000 businesses, trained over 3,120 over the last 3 years. We have met one-on-one with 782, and we've helped about 268 businesses get about $34 million in capital. And I tell you, one of the big things that I find out is that people just don't know. We pay for the lack of knowledge. And from a financial standpoint, having accurate financial statements, credit, those are the big ones that we try to work with them on. And also we have every first Thursday, we have a class where we teach them how to come to the bank and get the money and business planning. So, and this is virtual, they can Zoom in virtual, they can come actually to Baton Rouge and be in person at the Governor Romer Small Business Center. And I'm gonna go ahead and mention that, Richard, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a business co-working space in Baton Rouge, and I think it'd be a great one if you can do one in LA, where it's a co-working space where businesses have low rent. Very nice. We took an old branch that we did and we put offices in it. And they have access to low rent, 24-hour access to the building, have a conference room. Some renters pay $350 a month. They get a cube, it's like $200. And just be a member and have access to come land there and work is $89 a month. Then they have access to all the bankable knowledge that they need. And so, very lucrative program. And the last thing I'll mention, and I'll take questions after this, we have a veterans event on November 7th. Richard, he's going to be there. You don't know. You'll be interviewed by the president of the bank, Richard. And he'll be there in we've got programs for veterans in partnership with the SBA. And it's going to be a great event. We'd love any veterans or you guys to come down to Baton Rouge and be a part of that, because we'd love to try to bring that same vision to Alexandria and a few economic development. So I'll go ahead and pause for a second and just look at my background real quick. I've been in banking 31 years. I've had every position at various banks except for the president job. But this is something we're passionate about through our foundation to help educate from a financial literacy standpoint and also economic development standpoint. So I'll just pause for any questions that you may have. This commercial has been approved by B1 Bank, B1 Foundation, and we're going to take some questions at this time.
I do want to take one note. B1 Bank is in Baton Rouge, it's in Lafayette, it's in Natchitoches, and I'm like, how do y'all skip us in Alexandria? So that was one of the first things. And so I was, one of the things I was asking, I said, we need a bank like yours that caters to small businesses and helps small businesses in the way that you do and help them to grow. We need that in Alexandria. And he's been gracious and come down. He's already been here, spoke with us, and has engaged in our business expo, talking to small business owners here, and he's really highly motivated to ensure that he brings B1 Bank into Alexandria. I know we have a lot of local banks here, a lot of family banks here in Alexandria, but again, that's just an opportunity to focus on small businesses here and help them to grow. Get to that next tier. I'll get to that tier 2.
Is there a fee for joining the program or interacting in the program?
That's the best part about it. Can you tell them about it, Mr. Will? He asked about the fee.
Can you repeat that for me, please?
Is there a fee to be involved with the program or to?
No. It's actually free. It's, with our bank, even if we don't have a branch in there in LA, we still can serve that community. As far as training, educating, and I do have some people that actually, because banking now is it's online and that kind of thing, and you can make loans anywhere, but our services are free through our foundation. And actually, we give grants to some of these small businesses to, when we go through our business plan competition, like for instance, we teach them how to pitch, we teach them how to get different contracts, how to take their business to the next level. And one of our winners won $3,000 at our last pitch competition. On first place, second place got $2,000, third got $1,000, and just participating, they got like $250. So everything is free. We built our foundation in honor of Governor Romer. I don't know if anybody remember Governor Romer. Governor Buddy Romer. He started our bank. His nephew Jude Mindy is now the president. Both of them are from the Shreveport area, and he had a heart for small businesses, so that's what we're doing. So our services are free.
And this is, it's crucial, we have so many businesses closing in Alexandria. We need to change the narrative and try to figure out how to help small businesses, make sure that they sustain and make sure that they're educated in how to stay in business. So, and with that being said, because we're running up on 9:45, so we'll go ahead and take a motion and then let our retreat facilitator get started.
Any discussion, commissioners? I would like to hold off until we frame exactly what we're trying to do first. Go through our strategic, get our goals together, refine or assess and do everything that we need to do before we make any commitment to any organization, so we know where everybody fits and what we're doing. That would be my recommendation until we finish our strategic planning and get ourselves realigned and focused. I think I would recommend holding off on the vote until we finish what we're doing and plug them in the areas of our focus. Yeah.
Yes,
And
please.
public comments.
Sir.
Okay, open up for public comments.
You know, let me introduce myself. I'm Ben Johnson, and I'm here by what the old folks would say, happen chance. I'm not even supposed to be here. As a matter of fact, I did not know that my cohort, military brother, was going to be presenting something like this about the bank. So we did not conspire to do this, okay? It's not a conspiracy here. But I thank God for what you did. The reason I'm sitting here and I'm just overwhelmed with what I just heard presented, Mr. Chairman, is because I'm a small business owner. And I have 3 banks here in Alexandria that I deal with. And each one of those banks have caused me nothing but heartache. As a small business owner, there's a tremendous challenge trying to get money from these banks. Because if you don't, I guess, carry a couple $1 million, in each bank, they don't even look at you as a small business owner. So I think this opportunity is really going to benefit so many of the small business owners here in Alexandria. And Mr. Chair, I do respect and understand, sir, but I just hope we don't let this opportunity pass.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm not letting it pass because I think this is what our focus. We're trying to get ourselves, we've had
Yes, sir.
hard
Yes, sir.
past 18 months, and we need to get our framework and infrastructure because this aligns with what we're trying to do.
Okay.
We want to make sure that it's in
Yes,
there
sir.
correctly.
And I just want to say, because it's not every day that an opportunity enough. And I know how this is going to benefit me. I hate to be so personal with you, but I've been struggling as a small business owner, dealing with Regis Bank, dealing with Red River Bank, and dealing with First Guarantee Bank. It's difficult because, again, I have money in both of these banks, but when I come there, to get additional funding for trying to do something, trying to purchase something, it's always a challenge. So I just want to present that to our board this morning. And thank you, Mr. Chair. God bless you.
Once I've got a misunderstanding. I didn't think this was about the bank. I thought that was 2 separate.
They are.
Okay, so these are 2 separate things.
Separate things.
Okay.
This is the only thing that
Yeah,
we're
this
doing
is-
with the motion, and it aligns with everything ongoing business.
Okay.
not getting involved with the bank right now. I just wanted to give you all that information because I invited him to be there. But this with Mid-Louisiana Chamber is no different than what we did with the Central Louisiana Chamber of Commerce. There's no money being transacted. It's allowing us to get started on some things, regardless of what comes out of this retreat.
To collaborate.
Absolutely. And like we're going to the Body Classic, it just allows us to officially be working with them so they can help further our mission.
So not just on this one initiative, it can be on a plethora or, okay.
So what is the bank?
The bank is Business Investment District. He's just giving you
A
information.
program that they're offering us, or that they're offering in our area, that they offer in their area.
Once we get to that point, but we're not there yet, like Dr. Lewis said, but this is not what that promotion is about.
And to further more answer the question, it's just a host of things that we at the Regional Chamber of Commerce bring as far as our relationships as far as helping small businesses in the area. They are have a relationship with us at the chamber, and we want to bring that relationship in with you also. It's nothing about any banking or anybody doing any banking with them, anything like that. It's about how we're helping small business in the community. And this is part of the relationship that we bring to the table to you. And we're just opening doors for collaboration. As I always say, we don't want to be after the idea has already been started. Everybody already knows where they want to go. We want to be at the table when the ideas begin, when the ideas are spoken on, and collaborate with you. And as far as what you're thinking, where you want to go. And like you're doing a retreat now, we want to say, yes, we want to be at the table with you and talk to you about different opportunities. We want to say that we have these businesses in the area, but we know of these people that have talent that can start businesses that will help build on to what you're planning on doing, what you're looking at doing. So we want to be able to bring that to the table and bring those ideas. We have some 98 businesses right now that are members with us, and so we want to say, hey, 98 businesses, this is what GAEDA is doing. So now, what do you have that you can actually bring back to the table for what GAEDA, for economic development for Alexandria?
Any other public comments? Again, I think we're kind of all over the place. I think first we need to get focused. And of course, I believe they fall into the partnership collaboration, maybe the workforce development. But I still think we need to go through our planning framework so we know specifically how that's going. That's just my recommendation on that. I'm not saying what you need, any other public comments? We can roll call vote, ma'am.
Dr. Lewis,
No.
Mr. McGee,
Yes.
Reverend Williams,
No.
and Mr. Morgan.
No.
Motion fails.
Are we going right into the retreat, strategic?
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to join you all this morning. I'm Dr. Deion Davis. I'm the owner of Greenhouse Solutions. We're a management and strategy consulting firm who's been in operation for over 10 years. And we provide management strategy, a plethora of professional development for small businesses and economic development, workforce development throughout the region. It's an honor to be here today, and this is my wheelhouse, and I'm kind of happy we had that discussion. I think it's important for us to realize the importance of collaboration and new relationships, because economic development authorities and civic and social groups who can take advantage of the resources available to them through other organizations and people, actually learn how to work smarter and harder. And so I'm happy that it'll be a priority today to, one, define who we are as an organization, what are our priorities, to put those in motion, and then to engage with organizations who can assist us in meeting those goals. Ms. Angela, I have the slides in the packet if we can't get it up, so I don't have to walk back and forth.
Sign into the Gmail account on this computer. You switch the laptop out. You want to sign in?
Okay.
Or,
So this is a different computer?
yes, look, their backs are turned, so we may want to go with
Yeah, we can do the printouts, that's fine. Anybody can.
the friend.
For the sake of time,
Yes.
I also am part of the faculty at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, and I lecture during the week, and so standing in one place and talking to people is not something that I plan to do today. We're gonna move around, and we're gonna be efficient and effective in making sure that we can reach our goals today. So you've been provided with a packet. In the package, you'll have the PowerPoint slides, in addition to a workbook that we will work through as the day progresses. And for time's sake, I've adjusted some of the time that we'll spend on some of the activities, but we'll still get everything covered. So on behalf of GAEDA, the Greenhouse Solutions, we thank you all for coming today to participate in our strategic planning retreat. This is going to be a time for us to pause, to consider, to reflect, and to dream. That's the most important thing. There's no bad idea. There's no correct idea. But together, all of our ideas can truly move the organization forward. Okay? We'll spend a few seconds just going around the room to introduce. Everybody knows themselves or knows everybody in the meeting, but we can just say our names and introduce who we are, and then we'll get right into one of our first activities, which is in our packet, where we'll actually consider GAEDA and what we value about the organization, our perspectives. We'll look at some of the positive impacts that GAEDA's had, and then we'll spend a few minutes envisioning the perfect GAEDA and what this organization can look like in 3 to 5 years with a good solid plan right now. So if we don't mind, you can start right here. Just say your name and why you decided to come out today.
My name is Renee Clark. I work at the Louisiana Department of Veteran Affairs. I want to know more about GAEDA's mission and how we can partner and participate.
Central Louisiana Juneteenth, Carolyn Fraser, President, and part of GAEDA, and part of new committee members.
Okay.
Support.
Frank Johnson, supporting in Central Louisiana. Juneteenth Association, GAEDA, OED.
Good morning, everybody. Jim Johnson Davis. I'm an active community activist, and I'm a member of 5 nonprofit boards. So I'm just here to hopefully learn more.
Great.
Coach Richard Gordon, with Vice President, Mid-Louisiana Regional Chamber of Commerce.
Small business.
Great, thank you. You are all stakeholders. You all have a vested interest in this process. You all have a voice, and we look forward to engaging you in these conversations because in addition to having authority and being decision makers, we also realize that a big role in what we do is listen to our constituents and our stakeholders and see how we can engage them, not only for the organization, but for our area, which can improve our regional performance, the state as a whole. Okay? So, one of the first activities, it's in your packet under bullet 3, it's session 1. What are we doing here? So in this first session, we're going to try to ground ourselves in the shared purpose and open a conversation about the values that connect us to this work. Whether you serve as a board member, a community stakeholder, a public partner, a private collaborator, your insights are critical to shaping GAEDA's future. So here, we're going to reflect on what matters most in the mission and in our personal leadership and organizational work. We're going to acknowledge what each of us brings to the table, and we're going to begin building a shared vision of what GAEDA can and should become in the next 3 to 5 years. So let's spend a few minutes, maybe about 5 to 10 minutes, working on the prompts that follow on the following pages. So the first prompt is, what do you personally value most about GAEDA's role in Alexandria and Central Louisiana? The second prompt is, from your perspective, whether it's a board member, partner, or stakeholder, what makes your leadership or involvement in this work meaningful? Number 3, think about a time when GAEDA had a positive impact and what stands out to you about that moment or project. And then finally, we'll end with visioning the perfect GAEDA, where we'll think about what that would look like in 3 to 5 years, and what are some steps that we can take to get us there, okay? So let's just spend a little bit of time working on that individually, and then collectively we'll have a discussion. And board members, I know you have some tight space up there, but if you want, we can consider, using these tables. We have 5 tables, and so we have 8 people. We can spread out a few at each table, then we have room to work. So I know you have a lot of books and cups and everything up there. So if you need some more room, please feel free to move around and use the tables. And don't worry about writing full sentences. If it's just words that come to your mind, write that down. This is rough draft work, okay? Don't get stressed about spellings and what it looks like. This is only your paper. get started in about 2 minutes.
Hey, why not? You know you got to study last night.
Okay.
All right, so that was the end of our individual time. And so now we'll take a few minutes just to go around the room and discuss some of our current responses to the questions. And I'll start with the board first. So what do you personally value most about GAEDA's role in Alexandria and Central Louisiana?
I put it as potential.
Potential, okay.
I put creating a means to impact the city through economic growth and the ability to be a catalyst to develop that growth throughout the entire city.
Okay.
Our mission was originally designed, our mission statement was originally designed. I remember sitting with the original board for us to be the champion and catalyst for economic growth, tourism attraction, and improved quality of life for Alexandria. I would love to see the shit done.
What was the last part?
And improved quality of life for residents.
Okay.
And I wrote the opportunity to promote growth of our city and communities.
Okay. Anything else?
Opportunity to make generational change to lives in our community.
I put assisting in bringing
as part of the fight for the business.
All right, is there anyone from our stakeholder audience that would like to, discuss their answer?
You want to wait for our spokesperson down there.
I just, for, willingness to listen and act on community needs.
Okay.
And I guess I'm with that, because they want to know what we like about it. I like the unity, and I just encourage them to stay unified, because being in Alexandria, it's difficult to find a unified board, but this board is unified, and you can see it, and that's what I like about you guys.
Anyone else? All right.
I like that it's diverse. I particularly like, that there's two women, Ms. Renata and Ms. Sanders, and of course, I do, I love the diversity, and I like to see, but I wanna know what your plan is. You have a vision of what you wanna do, but personally, you know, as a veteran myself that served 24 years in the Army, I wanna know how are you gonna actually impact the community? What's the plan?
All right, we'll move on to our second one. From your perspective, whether you are a board member, a partner, or a stakeholder, what makes your leadership or involvement in this work meaningful?
Being able to change small business culture in Alexandria.
Mindset of growth.
I got continuing relationships with organizations in our city.
Excellent.
As the question says, from your perspective, what makes your leadership or involvement in this work meaningful? And I feel that my association with numerous community entities and my ability to connect with people in all spaces.
Okay.
I was gonna say that I have investments here, I work in the area, small business in the area, own in the area. So I'm connected to the area, and I try to make decisions for what's best and for the area as a whole.
Anyone else? All right, our next question. Think about a time when GAEDA had a positive impact. What stands out about that moment or project?
I would say the Solid Drive, without a doubt. When we worked on the Solid Drive, we were seen as reputable. We were involved. We had the administration working together. It was just a good time, and I'll let the board, because they weren't on the board at the time, but they saw the impact of putting those sidewalks in. Mr. Muller he started it all. It was his idea, it was his brainchild to do that work, and it was just amazing. Being a part of good change or change.
And so it was like, it was beautification, safety reasons, the sidewalks?
Sidewalks, widening the sidewalks, putting in trash receptacles, that Heinzen Bridge, benches, lighting, tightening up those wires that were hanging real low, just all kinds of things, even being involved with the food safety and fish. You know, it's just an amazing time.
When I came on the board, it was right when things were becoming completed. So I had a chance to see the completion part of it. And my answer was the revitalizing of the Masonic Drive and how we made a statement of change and also a statement for the need of further change down the line.
Do you remember the timeline on that project, Ms. Anthony?
Mid 2006, around summer of 2006 till last year, because we did the other side last year. Completely.
That's a good long-term project.
And it was just one of the many corridors that we just sketched out. They weren't actually corridors for the city, it was GAEDA, we had zones. And Masonic to, first zone, yeah. So then we had Bolton Avenue, and I just love to see us get back to that working on that, but we can't move along.
Right. And I think it's important that we acknowledge the long-term projects because, of course, we want to give you all a few short-term wins to give you to reinvigorate the organization and to build your confidence up. But I don't want you to shy away from considering long-term projects as well. So we can get some short-term wins, but, committed to another long-term project, that helps as well with the longevity and keeping the energy high and the momentum going and bringing in different groups that you can partner with to help you accomplish that. So I think that's good. Any others?
It's not a project. If I remember correctly, when GAEDA had a seat at the decision-making table of economic development, and they still do, but that when the, if you will, the powers that be, the media organization that we have, was instrumental in not coming to, but actually was at the seat of the table when the decision-making was going on about what we need to do and what we're going to do, and not as an afterthought coming to GAEDA for resources. That's important, that's vital. Just like I think, like past Peabody, that was the business corridor at one point, and a lot of effort and energy was into that. And of course, it got shut down, but GAEDA was there, Mr. Moore was there, and GAEDA was prominent in, like you say, leading in those other areas, corridors at the end of the day. They were there in the hunt, in the pursuit, in the development process of what needs to take place in central Louisiana.
It's not a project, but an event. And she's here today, Juneteenth. I think Mr. Moeller and Ms. Bernardo spent a significant amount of time helping develop that project into something that's become one of the premier projects in this area on an annual basis.
Yeah, I was going to tickle that the first time. I like the question where it stands out for the moment project, whatever. I was turned down the first time. Scared and everything else didn't know nothing. And what happened that day, instead of leaving the office mad, upset, I left the office with confidence, how to return, how to fill out the paperwork, what I need to do. And what stands out the most, he said, go out there and help yourself, sell some chicken dinners. You got to show something. So a lot of people probably have came to the table and was turned out. And mindset was like, I ain't fooling with them people. It encouraged me. It encouraged me to get positive people in the committee that will even go forward, because our goal was community. Not Carolyn Brady, not everybody else, community. And I applaud Mr. Moeller for taking that time out along with Angela, helping the organization to grow. It's been many years, and we have grown.
So, on a side note, did you all have performance here last year. Was there a Juneteenth performance here?
Yes, ma'am.
And there was,
We also did a GAEDA gospel.
GAEDA gospel,
Yeah, that's great.
that, and that was 22, and we moved that.
was it the group from Lafayette that attended?
Year before last.
Yes.
Year before last, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yes, ma'am.
My daughter was Belle.
Really?
Yes. So my daughter traveled here and they participated.
Yes, nice.
Yes, it was awesome. And that's the type of events when you think about making an impact and connecting communities and bridging the gap that are essential. Small wins, something that's on your calendar every year that you support to continue to grow and to get bigger and to get better. Because when Juneteenth wins, GAEDA wins, Alexandria wins, Central Louisiana wins.
Well, some of our board members were chastising us, past board members, because we did not just turn down grant applications. We did that with Juneteenth, but we do that with everyone who submits to make sure that they present the best application they can, instead of just checking off boxes and telling them no. Because like you said, a win for them is a win for us.
And I think it's great that you provide that resource and that education for them. And, even building community around, the information sessions. Come and see what we have. Come and see how to do it. It's a good way to engage and, improve those timelines for approval or denial and resubmissions. That's great. Any other wins and proud moments?
I had a proud moment. LVDA came here. Annually, we have our training sessions. It's like 3 days a week, and Ms. Bernardo allowed us to have meals, and so we had excellent meals 3 times a day here. We stayed at the Benton Hotel, and our veteran assistance counselors come from all over the state, so they got to taste a little bit of Central Alexandria. There's minimal shopping now, so we love to get businesses back booming again so they can enjoy the food and the vibrancy of Alexandria again. And that was a really important part. People are still talking about that event, and we hope to be able to partner again to come back to Alexandria for those 3 days.
All right. So now we consider visioning the perfect GAEDA. Okay, so imagine the year is 2028, GAEDA is thriving, the community is benefiting, local businesses are energized, visitors are arriving in record numbers. What does the perfect GAEDA look like?
Looks like an organization that doesn't have a seat at the table, but they created the table.
All right, I like that. And sometimes that's what you have to do. Sometimes it's about making your own way and, staying busy and keeping your focus to where you're so laser focused on what you have to do and committed to your goals that other people start to notice. And sometimes it's better to show people better than you can tell them. And so I think that's essential to working quiet and let your activities and your tasks speak for themselves.
That's kind of my problem. I think what I would like to see is, one, is GAEDA is not a controversial organization. Unfortunately, lately it's been that. And I think that it has a plan of action that focuses on building businesses through education and community participation that has true economic value for the community. I think, and this is not just GAEDA, I think we have a problem nationwide with people seeking out dollars to benefit themselves and not to benefit the community as a
visibility. I feel like this board is so important to the city that we cannot allow you guys to just sit back. You know, we need to get you guys on the front page of everything and let people understand and see what you're doing. Because it's imperative, because you guys are like bringing jobs, which is money to the city. You know, everybody needs money to live. So, and just like right now, KOB should be here. You know, this place should be packed.
Well, unfortunately, being my good friend, people like drama. And believe me, first part of this year and last year, this organization had plenty of drama. But this body here, the commitment of the people that you see in this room today, stand and go toe to toe against the big Alexander machine. It was truly amazing, and I enjoyed being part of that group. So, with that said, you have a group here. If you look at the base of this group right now, we got to get it right. We do. We're under a microscope with every vote we cast. We're under a microscope with everything that we say. This organization, it's a great organization. And there are votes that come through, and we disagree sometimes. But we disagree, and it gives us time to really look at what we want to accomplish, where we want to go, and who we want to lead us, or who we plan to lead. So I guess the most meaningful thing to me would be courage of GAEDA, commitment of these board members. It ain't a high-paying job. As a matter of fact, it's a no-paying job. But I have a dog in the fight. And I think I said this last year. You know, I done traveled the world. And when I retired from the military and decided to make Alexandria my home, then a little bit later on, my children, they grew up in the school system here, decided to make Alexandria their home. So my fight is not for me. My fight is for my grandchildren, and building this community and live in this community. So I am proud to serve on this board with this great body and these brilliant minds. Ms. Sandy, I just can't say enough. How you fight for this organization, how you lead us, how you maneuver through the red tape and the crap. And it's still standing. This organization is still doing great things. So those are my most meaningful moments. Thank you. Thank you, sport.
Yes.
All right. Just had a fit. I got a great idea. Create the table. No, I did that intentionally because it meant put no check on it. I'm going to do it again. Create the table. Put no check on it. Put two more. Just stop me from saying. Seriously, create the table. One of the things Renee said was that, and she mentioned about shopping. She mentioned about a couple of areas. And one of the things that you hear around the tables, different tables, is even in the medical side of the house, is that when people choose to come here, number one, it's a great place to live. Got that. Everybody out here living here, but the amenities becomes a real challenge. The shopping, the activities, and what have you, that's the main thing that come up. And in the medical community, we lose many doctors and what have you because the lives that want to live here, raise their kids, is because I have quote unquote We have to go to Baton Rouge, New Orleans, perhaps Shreveport, or even Houston, you know, to shop and enjoy the activity. So, if creating a table means carving out a niche, and I be focusing on well-being in Central Louisiana, you know, that just may be an opportunity. Create a table, being at the forefront of economic development, perhaps carving out a niche of what that means, because that means a lot. The greatest things on a lot of people's minds today, and minds as well, is our kids leave here. Brain drain. They're leaving. Why? Economic, for money, bottom line, jobs, better pay. And so, while many wants to come home, the reality is they can't come home without a large pay cut. And so, perhaps, in the short, carving out a niche and creating a table, what that niche would be, you know, that's to be determined. And we could be at the forefront to continue to enhance what we have. And as Dr. Lewis said, the potential is there. It's awesome.
I'm looking at this and says the perfect GAEDA is a unification, a unified GAEDA, a unified board, focused on economic growth development. And we talked about things we've spoken about activities here in Alexandria. There are studies that say that youth recreation is a good thing for the economy, helps the actual economy grow within for that community. Just recreation period helps the economy grow. Because people are spending money not only at the activity, but also things in preparation to attend the activity. That's right. So looking for people to spend a lot of money, hotel rooms, shopping, sports items, and things of that nature. In 3 to 5 years, I hope GAEDA is known for helping to make that happen. Known to say, yes, we know an entity, a governmental entity within our city that would help us do this, that would help us make that happen, that have those ideas going forward. And one bold step GAEDA could take, ensure everyone understands the mission of GAEDA, okay, and is working toward that mission in unison. Even on our own board, we have, you know, when we vote on something, there's always somebody that says no, but that's okay. There's no problem with that. However, when the board decides to say yes, and an item passes, everyone is on board with that, and everyone is putting forth the effort to make sure that that item is successful going forward. And we also don't discount that other person that said no, because you look at why they said no and fix those issues to help them to come along and understand why you're doing what you're doing. And so that's what I'm looking forward to with GAEDA board, is for that unification. Yes, no's, maybes, you know, hey, let's dig into it and understand more, and which, you know, the President said it himself. We need to do something here before going forward, so we know what we want to do. So going forward, that we're all unified in what our mission is and what we're looking forward to doing.
Good work. Any final comments?
Two things that we all touched on. We talked about culture and we talked about change. Anytime we talk about the future, we're talking about change. Anytime we're talking about an impact, we're talking about culture. So my thing is, in 3 to 5 years, I would love to see GAEDA taking that responsibility and the initiative to make a culture change economically, to change the culture for small business in Alexandria, to be able to create more small businesses that will funnel into big business. And that's how the city grows. Economic culture change will be the catalyst to turn Alexandria into a greater Alexandria. Alexandria the Great. You understand? And that's what we are. We are Alexandria the Great. And that's what I would like to see in 3 to 5 years, that we make that economic, cultural change to not just make Alexandria the Great, but make Alexandria great.
I think that's awesome. And you know, as I listen to your comments, I reflect on the little town that I stay in. A few years ago, we had to lose our designation as a town because of the census and became a village. So as citizens, we band together and did another roll call of who lived in town, and we turned that in, and we got the designation of a town again. But because it's a high impoverished area with a beautiful historic background, we had to find our piece. How could we contribute? We're not going to attract a lot of big industry that's going to pay a lot of taxes to really drive home a lot of changes in our communities. But we did realize the benefit of small businesses. And we have a strip, which we call downtown, that consists of a few businesses that drive a lot of our tourism, should you say. So sometimes it's not in the huge companies, but invested in a lot of small businesses, you know, to create the culture of old town, you can walk the streets. We had to develop our own identity in what we had. And luckily, we did have some area on our service roads that would support big industry, and we were able to get 2 companies, both plastics, and one was a pharmaceutical. They did the bottles and the plastics for pharmaceuticals. And so we were able to accommodate those who do help. We were finally able to get a couple little restaurants to where people are on I-49, they don't mind stopping off and grabbing something right quick. But you just have to be intentional about what you have and doing what you have, or what you can with what you have in your hands. So I heard you all talking about a building. What would be the purpose of the building?
Our office, our main
Our
office.
office? Okay.
But also to generate additional revenue by having those small office spaces for lawyers to do depositions, you know, different things.
Shared space.
Shared spaces, yes.
I think
But I think your question right before gives the answer to a perfect game. The community is benefiting, local businesses are energized, visitors are arriving in record numbers. Our revenue is what people take interest in because we get 3% on hotel rates. So that's always, even if somebody's not interested, they want to get at that money. But if we can use that money to do just these things, and it be GAEDA instrumented, as he said, creating the table to do that, that's a perfect thing.
Right. And you know, how can I say this? People aren't looking for you and attacking you if you're doing everything wrong. The enemy doesn't come after you when your life is in shambles. You know, so anytime you face adversity, it's usually because you're doing something right. And by setting policies, principles, standards of practice that are tied to your mission, that makes making those decisions easier and putting those people at bay if it's not tied directly to the strategic objectives of the organization and where we're going, then, you know, that's where the money is going to go. So you can put processes and safeguards in place to not even have to deal with those conversations. So that's definitely something that we can work on, you know, through the process and add it to, I'm sorry, excuse me.
I have one other thought. Because I'm just throwing it out there for what it's worth, and that is, when GAEDA was started, Pineville was not included. Of course, Pineville was not the Pineville that we know today. Pineville was not the Pineville that we know today when GAEDA was started, or even in business incubator with the small businessmen line. Pioneer has shifted in its economic development stance and in its growth. And so, of course, y'all have to look at all the dynamics, but that's maybe something worth looking at 3 to 5 years down the road. How do we incorporate true non-city life? Pioneer that, you know, Tri-City, you know, like Tri-City, instead of continue to be in a divide, you know, make not be a part of it, because Pioneer is growing and the revenue stream, how we did it, now Pioneer become a real impact, which we are not realizing today.
All right, it's on the list. So we have some big ideas, some big dreams, and we're going to keep this at the front of our plan so that we can revisit these when we get to our later activity. All right, so now we're going to move into session 2, and we're considering GAEDA's role as a catalyst. And so before we can determine where we're going, we need to look at where we are, and that SWOT analysis is going to allow us to do this. So I typically do this in strategic planning to help organizations assess their current position and then chart a path forward. So the SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. By identifying internal strengths and weaknesses, things that we do well or we need work on as an organization, and then we consider external opportunities and threats, things that are going on around us that can benefit or harm us, we can clarify our priorities and determine where to invest our time and our energy. Now, I have a graphic in the packet as well as in the PowerPoint slides that will define the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But I also have one just to make it a little more realistic, a real example that I've actually gone through. So in addition to doing consulting and working at the university, I also own a sensitive skincare company called Soche. Soche was founded in 2015 out of the need for an effective product to help with my daughter's eczema. So I had sensitive skin all my life. As a little girl, I could never bathe in Mr. Bubble. I could never take a hot bath. It always had to be lukewarm water, and the most I could put in my water probably would be oatmeal every once in a while for a breakout. And so I lived with it. I was bullied in school, but back then we didn't care about bullying. Like, I don't remember going home and crying about it. I would just tell them, like, your mama. And we keep it pushing. Like, we were just a little different in how we handled bullying growing up. So it was no hair off of my back when they had something to say about me. But my daughter's experience was different. She was at an all-girls school. And while my breakouts typically were on my legs or in my creases, hers was around her mouth. And it drew a lot of attention to her. She went to cover her mouth, put her head down, just to not participate. We went to the doctors, little tube of medicine, $80 after insurance, and she's gone through like a tube a week. And then it started to bleach her skin, and then she started having reactions to it because it's full of steroids. And I'm like, Lord, you gotta help me. You gotta fix this. And I heard clearly, say, why don't you try to make her something? Now, as I previously said, I work full time. I was doing my consulting. I have 3 kids, and those kids have activities. So I'm like, I don't know, when you said make or something, I'm like, okay, let me go in the kitchen. And I did research on all natural solutions, and so I did some trial and error. Then after a few months, I created what is called a special blend, and that's how the journey started. And so from there, we decided we needed lotion, and I needed a better soap because it seemed like Dow and I would change the recipe on, and they were causing issues too. And then, she wanted hair care products, and then we had acne, so we needed face care products. And so, for the last 10 years, here it is, I've fallen into, providing a product instead of a service. The service is easy, because I show up and I do this, I can do this in my sleep, but, the product development, the research and all of the legalities of it proved to be challenging to me. And so, what I started to do at the around this time, actually every year, third quarter of the year, right before fourth quarter starts, I'm planning my next year and what that looks like. And so I started to do a SWOT analysis on my business as part of that. And that's one of the slides, that's a SWOT analysis. And so today you're going to do a SWOT analysis, kind of like what I had to do. So I had to think, this was 2 years ago, this is an old one. I had to think about the strengths. What am I good at? Like, what are the reasons I'm still in business? What am I known for? Okay, so I've had 8 years of profits. I have effective products, as evidenced by people keep buying them. My overhead is low because I'm the only employee and I employ my children until, they get of age and they decide, they want to do something else. They'll do that. And it's a very niche market because I carved out the sensitive skincare place. So those are my biggest strengths. Now my weaknesses, I'm one full-time person, okay? Low brand awareness because I'm still regionally known. I'm not, nationally and internationally known. During the Super Bowl, I don't know if you all remember, there was a commercial with Lil Wayne on it, the last Super Bowl. And he talked about, it was a commercial for Cetaphil. Cetaphil is a product used by people with sensitive skin. And it was after he had gotten arguments or he was feeling some type of way because he wasn't invited to perform in New Orleans. And he says, well, I'm just so sensitive. And I screamed and cringed because I'm like, that's the type of international and national recognition I yearn to have for my company because, they let a superstar say sensitive. And everybody already knows that they're a sensitive skincare product.
Are you on any shelves?
I actually am. So I'm in Drug Emporium in Lafayette, and there's another pharmacy that has the products. I have a storefront, and I'm also selling online. Okay? And I fell into this. This was never, in the cards for me to do it, but I had to work it out. And I was behind the ball, the curve with preparing for how to do this. So I was on the job training. Most of my sales are from Acadiana, which can be a limitation. And then there are capacity limitations. I have 2 arms and very little machinery. Okay, so while I am able to operate at my current capacity, there's a whole lot more that I can do. So the weaknesses are things that I've identified as areas where my organization is susceptible to realizing that we have some limitations. So your strengths are what you do well. Your weaknesses are your limitations and the things that you need to work on to go from good to great. Now the opportunities and the threats, as I previously said, those things happen outside of my organization. So I have opportunities for strategic partnerships. There's a growing demand for skincare products. And there's always opportunities to engage around social media, advertising, and education. Those are things that I can take advantage of, okay? So, little girls are taking care of their skin at a much younger age now. You have teenagers who have more products than their mothers, and they're listening to these influencers on social media and believing everything that they say. And so, there's an opportunity for me to capitalize on providing good education on healthy skincare to young women via social media. And then the threats. These are the things that can close my doors. These are the things that can shut me down. Okay, big box suppliers, competitors, substitute products. At this time, there's no FDA approval for the skincare products that I make because of the size of my organization. And then the final one was a trademark pending. So I was 6 years in before I even considered, as a business professor, that I did not have a trademark. I'm like, wait, what are you doing, Dion? You stand up here and you teach this, all the time on campus. How did you forget this? But I was so busy in the move and the hustle and bustle of the business, I didn't even consider I needed that. And so we started the process at the end of year 8, and it was approved earlier this year. So I finally have some trademark coverage and can take that off of my list. But essentially, I wanted to just give you a realistic idea of what the SWOT analysis is. So strengths and weaknesses are from inside the organization. Opportunities and threats. Opportunities are things that you can capitalize on to help you to continue growth. Threats are the things that can shut you down or truly impact and affect the way that you operate. Okay? So this is going to be a group exercise, so you don't all have to work on this separately. But I would ask the board members to go to a table, and then we can have like 2 to 3, 4 maybe people in a group to work on that, and we're going to work on a SWOT. I'll give you a sheet of paper, and you'll present that to the group when we're done. Y'all don't have to work on this other thing. So y'all can write in the books and talk as a group, and then you'll write your final answers on the page.
Swing, right? All right, leadership and vision of GAEDA. Ms. Burke. Yes. Yes. Vision of GAEDA. Original founders of your book. From Ms. Burke. From the work.
From the property of the original.
Being able to be diverse and patient to work with other business entities. Also, being the funding tool to create.
That's seven for.
Yeah, that's the one.
Or the daily struggle of faith in vision. Where do you get a struggle or faith in vision? So, that would be a lack of awareness. Okay, lack of awareness of
specific marker for this? Yeah, we got the picture.
Yeah, with lack of awareness of GAEDA. I was waiting on my table, but
The more the merrier.
I wasn't cool. Consolidate. No, I was just doing this phrase about our teams consolidate.
I put, good and a stronger business relationship with the city. But, yeah, like I said, politics you wanna add politics and crime? Yeah. We'll supply.
What we on the weakness, and that's what I,
What are these cups?
You don't get one? Well, I could have given you the other board members who were no longer here there.
No, it's got their name on it.
You don't want it?
It's got your name on it.
Yeah. Sounds the same.
Hold on for a second.
Oh, as a
can't hear this.
Got 6 of and 7 strength.
Still on file. Just put organization, not organization.
give us an opportunity to talk about
change economic culture in the city. The overall coalition is number 3 to create, point blank, to create, or to have the opportunity to create to create a new culture. Everything is starting with creation. We have the opportunity to even create. That's a good thing. I'm working with what is it, such a dire need? You know what I'm saying? It's that gap. It's like you got this looking nice, this looking nice, at least, you know.
Inside that complex, there's a boxing room. There's I don't know the guy, I think he had a program for boxing, for training, but he would not allow students to compete. It's boxing. It's the whole part of boxing is competition. So that makes him not want to be involved in it. And I'm talking about brands.
But the point is to bring all that see folks.
Are we on threats now? Yeah, and that's kind of line.
For a lot of things and using a lot of ideas and taking credit for it.
What was that?
Masonic Drive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's.
All right, how we doing? We almost done? Please, you know, there.
No, I just want.
But it's still, it's how you exactly down the land for that. Whether you can play any reason, or whether you give them 2 years, 4 years. But that's because we're so it's a house chance on it, but because it's so but yeah. They're seeing that you don't like gators of fire.
That was the whole.
So what could actually shut it down? If we don't do
But our viability is just that we have to gators in the process.
Also, the next thing I'm gonna say, your board is not.
Right.
Food.
That's like, right. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of.
No.
No.
Capital. Well, I was. But they don't.
Yeah, that's.
next year.
Well,
No, 2 years from now. Mason, Councilman Johnson, is definitely, yeah, him and Liz were part of the same class.
Oh, Bernard. Yeah, the mayor.
so that can change. That can change.
Gary Johnson came in together.
Right.
Especially with the mayor wanting this funding for a building. Why board, and see, that would be the other strategic move. You gotta look, I talked to, as far as that project, I talked to 3 project managers and ran it down to them. And the first thing they said, y'all invest $3 million and $400,000. It just doesn't make sense.
The mayor was going to be paying lots. The developers would have had the opportunity after spending the $1 million or so they wanted to spend on this project.
1.2.
But we don't.
We changed our mind.
But we went
There
home.
was nothing.
And they didn't have an idea. Now, this all started was my first term on GAEDA, when they tried to introduce that old IGA that was over 11 years old. And we turned in ready for this move to have in place. As soon as they had it in place, they brought it back. See the strategic move? And now, and the way they brought it back was they popped up at a meeting, dropped the contract.
Right.
And didn't give them any time.
All right, Pete.
You know.
So they're finished over there, and, for time purposes, if we still have to fit in lunch, and then the last session is coming up with our goals. I'm gonna, instead of doing the blizzard exercise where we talk about our potential barriers, that's kind of included in our grants. So we'll wrap those 2 up into one. So we'll have a discussion right now about our strengths. We'll do it section by section, and then we'll see if we have any commonalities. Let me get y'all both over here. All right, so she wrote bigger, that's all. She just had a big handwriting. Don't feel left out. I don't know if you're supposed to try.
Yeah, but y'all got my drop over there.
Yeah.
And
Y'all got the.
All right, so who's gonna present from this group?
I can't. Okay,
Strengths up here for you.
oh, it's already up there, okay, I'm sorry. We have 7. Our first strengths are, grant programs aimed at special events. Number 2, a new board with fresh ideas and diverse perspectives. Number 3, 20 years of clean audits. Number 4 is a strong and consistent revenue. 5 is leadership that encompasses the vision of GAEDA from the original vision and inception. I'll catch up with myself. Number 6 would be diversity and patience to work with other businesses and entities. Number 7 is being the fundamental tool to create impact in the community. And then we got the weaknesses.
What you got for your strengths?
We share a lot of the same common goals or common strengths, internal management and our compliance, consistent revenue stream, and we do well in our grants. And being a political subdivision is also
I just added right here. All right. So that was our strength. Oh, you got a few weaknesses. Read a few weaknesses off the bottom.
Okay, number one, lack of community awareness of GAEDA. Building a stronger business relationship with the city leadership. We have limited staff, political climate, revenue access, and sit at the table. Excess, I'm sorry, excess. And being able to sit at the table.
All right, what y'all got?
Our weakness, again, being a political subdivision was a weakness. No diverse stream of revenue, and then now with the ordinance rotation of commissioners, potential rotation every election season.
Y'all didn't think about that.
It affects you, but then it's also something from outside. Did I miss anything? All right, our opportunities?
Our opportunities are to create the table, connect with viable entities, partnership with banks, other chambers, be one to create opportunities for small businesses. Number 4 is to change economic culture, expand funding sources, work on new projects, and build in undeserved areas, and to attract the SWAC, the Southwest Athletic Conference, to bring that to everything.
Opportunity, again, being a political subdivision, because we qualify for a lot of the funding and tapping into.
I think I was listening to our table and writing our stuff down. Yeah, I don't know, man. We're going to talk a little quiet.
Great minds think alike.
Okay, I'll accept that. All right, our threats would be personal and political threats, lawsuits, public perception, and creating debt. And at this point, we're not having enough debt.
We're not with that.
I
can help y'all with that.
All right, our threat being a political subdivision, it hit all 4. Taking everything personal, not sticking to the business, also not having a full board. I think we ran into that last month, but I had to step away from military. Things don't get done because we didn't have a quorum. And then competition, there are a lot of other economic development agencies in the area. We talked about Sherrill, the Pinefield, and I think that falls part to Lavadang's representation, and part of that, so he represents us and you all, so whoever has, there could be some competition and opportunity. So it's an opportunity.
Right, I'm gonna put this down because I don't, we like to be aware of these. I don't like to give too much energy to them, you know what I mean? Because I have good work to do with my opportunities. So this is about creating awareness, okay? And we understand the confines within, we operate. But at the same time, we have to move forward with our opportunities. And one of the questions before the SWOT analysis talked about the current state of GAEDA, okay? So what are our priority buckets for GAEDA? And y'all can chime in to these as a whole. What are the priority areas for the organization?
Based on the opportunities.
Just basically stepping back from this, what are the current opportunities and the current activities we're involved in? If you had to put them in 3 to 5 buckets of work you do.
Property redevelopment.
Okay, redevelopment.
An opportunity right now, you can redevelop, redefine itself. That's what big opportunity. At this point in time, you can redefine yourself as to, who you
stronger brand for GAEDA.
I think I can help with that, but I'm not telling y'all right now, I'm too excited. What about, okay, so we talk about, I've heard businesses, I've heard community development, I've heard, workforce. How do those fit into our current priorities?
Well, I think business development, business attraction and retention, and then also partnership and collaboration would be the three.
Education.
For businesses?
Businesses and all.
And to me, that falls into the partnership and collaboration, what we introduced today with, Business Union and, also the other gentleman that we speak with, and just people in this field. Educating.
Financial opportunities. Financial opportunities.
So the businesses, or this is for the organization as a whole?
Well, they talk about not having debt, so you're looking at financial opportunities.
So they want to have this.
We want to have it. Yeah, we want to, we need to have.
Explain, I heard it at this table, they may not be aware, if you want to give them a high-level overview of what you just said.
Tiffany, you want to take it?
About creating the purpose and the reason why we need it.
Because I know what you wrote, when they said that, with that property or whatever, but from their from the administration's mindset of why we are not in debt.
Well, in plain language, they basically said we didn't own anything, right? So we're working on
You don't have any current assets to which to leverage if you were looking to get bonded or something, doing something on a greater scale. You don't have any current assets, which is financial opportunities being, when you talk about financial literacy, understanding what your assets are, to leverage that and doing a huge project, not a large project, but a huge project. Understanding what assets you have. That's what I say about financial.
The administration is taking the position based on the language of the organizing document that it said that their interpretation of it is that you don't have debt if you cease to exist.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe me. That's virtually true. Because you have to have some kind of debt. You have the funding to pay off the debt. Okay, so you got revenue coming in, but that means that you can take on larger projects or larger mission.
Like now we're saying.
Yeah.
Is that, like Abe was saying?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Does that, I guess, okay, drilling down, is that really more in what Rick is saying is that GAEDA ought to be in a position to be able to support, engage in some serious finances to promote business economic development. So, is that part, is that part of drilling down with that document that from the administration perspective? I'm just asking, I don't know.
I mean, here again, I think it's all in how they're interpreting the organization document.
Let's find a sexier way to say debt. But what about acquisition? What do we need to acquire?
Well, you got to have assets in order to.
Asset acquisition?
Asset.
The type of asset, I think.
Assets and liabilities.
Well, that's what we're looking at to do with this.
See, the acquire is going to create the debt. I don't want to put a goal is to go in debt. That's right. Sound.
No, that's why I say,
that's what I was saying.
Well, it's not to really go in debt, it's to create.
that's why I
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
What type, so how do we want to describe that? Like I said asset acquisition. Is that correct to say?
Yes.
To acquire assets?
Acquire.
Yeah.
Example, okay, when you talk about city housing and you have a company that comes into the city and wants to do a low-income housing.
Mm-hmm.
So the city is able to loan them money or have, and
although they're getting money from the federal government, but the city's also putting themselves in a position where, okay, we are going to also guarantee them this amount of money in order to make this particular project happen. And so that the company is liable to both the city as well as the federal government. And the city is liable to the federal government also in that process and in acquisition of making this happen. Contributing funds into something and looking for a return on that investment. But sometimes in order to put money into that investment, you may have to borrow money yourself to put into that project and to leverage it to secure that bond. So you have to put yourself into debt in order to help secure that bond for that project.
So GAEDA is not, I'm sorry, I was gonna say,
No, they don't do that.
Not, if you're asking specifically for GAEDA, what we're looking at trying to do with that redevelopment or asset acquisition is part of us wanting to purchase a space for us. We have to go to the bond commission to be able to go to acquire the property. That's what we're looking at doing. And bottom line, that eliminates that problem. We can go further into all these other things after we do that low-hanging fruit.
That's acquisition, so you acquire that asset, now you have assets that you can leverage on any other project that you have.
So I think everybody, so many people need to know, because I know there's certain economic boards that are limited. GAEDA is not a narrow limited board. By the statute and the ordinance, we have broad discretion to use our revenues for all kinds of things. And so, they're not dedicated funds, they're general funds that we receive from the hotel tax. And so, the law expressly gives GAEDA the power to put those dollars back into our community. That's what the law does. And so, in ways that grow jobs and grows businesses and strengthens our local economy. And so, GAEDA has basically a toolbox as wide as the needs of Alexandria, if you want to put it in a sense. We can do all kinds of things. I think it's important that everybody looks at the ordinances. The ordinance, and in short, we can invest in infrastructure. We can partner with private industry. We can improve the quality of life that makes families and businesses want to be here. The breadth of our authority is so wide open.
So in a nutshell, we have the opportunity to create even more opportunity.
Which is creating the table. I was going to talk about the table at the end. Okay.
So when we're asked what GAEDA can do, when we're asked what GAEDA can do with our money, the answer is simple: a lot. We can do everything necessary within our mission to promote the economic value of all kinds of things.
And we can do all that within ourselves.
And I will, so just with my little right now, maybe dot. So will what Angie said, for right now, satisfy the administration view? Okay.
Who knows, which is subject to change and try to create another,
But we do know
right,
that Tiffany, Sandra said, we are definitely satisfied. Whatever definition, however they.
I don't think that satisfied is the correct word. Okay. The ordinance says that we shall cooperate with the city.
We shall.
That doesn't mean we can if we want to, or if we don't, if we like to. Shall in the law means must.
Must.
Okay. So shall cooperate with the city of Atlanta to promote economic development, and we have to expend funds in our discretion to assist the city. The question is it always what they say we should do with it when they want us to do with it? And that's not. And so that's where the issue comes in. We must cooperate with them. So instead of always waiting for perhaps them to give us an idea, how about you create your own?
There you go. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Well, what else
Well, let me tell you, come on, let me talk about the table.
What else we putting on the table?
Talk about that table.
But that goes back to having the assets in place that you can get additional funding above and beyond what you actually have in the bank. And having those assets allows you additional leverage and be able to leverage those assets to make those acquisitions. If anybody ever got a question about, okay, you get hotel tax money, you use the hotel tax money. No, we're not. We actually borrow this money based on these assets that we currently own. And there's other ways, other streams of revenue which we talked about, and the ability to do.
Yeah, all right.
But I have a question as someone new, to this and not understanding really what GAEDA does. I wanna know if you wanna have an event here, let's say for veterans, what specifically can GAEDA provide?
That's a part of our granting program.
Yeah.
So GAEDA has, GAEDA really has, I'm gonna say 3 parts. Half the project we do around the city, like we talked about, infrastructure and all that stuff. Rebuilding portal. Really is what we did on the South Drive. Second part is a granting program. So when we have policies and procedures, long ago, people kept coming to us asking us how they could get money from us. So we developed policies and procedures. Those grant making policies and procedures outline what we can and cannot pay for. That's bills, we can pay for bills, and pay for advertising and marketing. Because the law says GAEDA can't really advertise itself, we can disseminate information. But this way, we still get our name out, but other organizations are, put our logo on the conference books and stuff like that. We can pay for the printing of that kind of thing. That's the grant that comes after that. The other part is really economic development, which is what we're talking about doing with businesses, the partnerships and collaborations with other entities to promote economic development in the city. GAEDA's mission is to become
So you provide meals and advertising. What must that organization give back to you?
according to the grant policy, you fill out an application. Once you get done with 3 minutes, we don't give you a check. You send us invoices or you send us paid invoices to be reimbursed. At the end of your event, you give us a final report, 30 days after the report. That's all we have. And that report outlines how many hotel rooms you have, how many vendors you use, how many of them went, and, if it doesn't, but it's all laid out in those.
So that's a win-win for everybody.
Right.
Right.
But
By having your event, you're bringing people to the hotels that create that tax, so that we can take that money and give other grants to other events, things like that.
see, it doesn't matter, our tax, it doesn't matter why somebody stays in the hotel, we still don't get rid of the tax on. But it was incentive for us to do that because people were coming asking for help. We could do it, but we needed a way to do it and to show accountability. And
Any final comments or, additions to the board before we set the table? The floor is yours, Brad.
We have a carpenter here.
Don't get the fruits of life.
Well, when I say setting the table, what does that look like? Setting the table looks like GAEDA being the headline sponsor. And what that means is GAEDA hosting their own events. Stop waiting for other people to call you and say you didn't get an invitation to this event, that event. And I was gonna do this at the end, but I went to that conference in Detroit and it was an international economic development conference. And what I noticed is we're in one of the best spots we could be in. There's a lot of boards that are not funded like us. They're funded through the city, they're funded through hotel tax and the city. We're only funded by hotel tax. That means our range to do things is broader and different scopes of that. If these organizations are able to host their own seminars and conferences and business development centers and all of this movement that they're doing, why can't we do it? Exactly. We need to have luncheons. We need to have promotion on, when I say educate, we need to educate entrepreneurship. We need to educate why our businesses are closed. I mean, I was gone a week and 2 businesses closed in the week span. I mean, you know, why is that? What is GAEDA doing to attract people to say, come here, come to Alexandria? You got to sell your city. If you don't like your city, nobody else is going to like your city. And another thing when I say set the table is that when you talk to a business of coming to Alexandria, you make deals with that business. We should be able to be at the table and say, we want this place, ABC, whatever, to come here. If you'll come here, we'll help you come here, but this is what we ask. Well, what do we ask? Y'all ask good questions. I'm a preacher, so you got to talk back to me. All right, so what you ask them to do, you ask them that says, we're going to help you beat the business here, but we are making you interview our people first. You have that leverage. A lot of us don't do it. There's carbon capture coming in. There's all of this coming in. If you see their plan for carbon capture, just because it's fresh in my mind, they have the indirect jobs and the direct jobs, and then they have the contractors coming, which is like 1,200. Well, that 1,200 number is not us. That indirect stuff is us, which is a small amount. I can't remember the number, 50, 60, whatever. But nobody has said, you got to interview our people first with those 50, 60. Those people can be from all across the state, all across the areas, and we're not pouring into our people. When you invest in our people, they become entrepreneurs. When you invest in our people, they pour into money in local businesses, local economy, local small business. All of this stuff is a trickle effect. But if you keep allowing other people to set your table, you'll never have a table for yourself. All right, I'm done. That's it.
I cannot pass up this opportunity. All that you said, that's why I am here because I'm saying the same thing I said. We want to be at the table when ideas are good, so we can go back into our business communities and say, hey, can you develop this business because this is coming to town and this is support that they need. And we want to create businesses within our community to take advantage of that. And that's what we're saying. And we have the resources to educate persons, to help them start it and to grow their business and to get funding to help their business along the way. So that's it.
So in a nutshell, 2 words, to create. That's the opportunity, to create. And that wraps everything up in one big thing, to create. And that is actually goes along with our strength. The ability to create. And we can, there's no reason why we should wait to create. We should always be elaborating or looking at what we can create next. But in a nutshell, it means to create. That's everything we've talked about. Redevelopment communities, create. Branding, create. Business attraction, create. It's all to create. 2 small little words sums everything up.
And I'll finish the statement. So, to create, Alexandria is a bridge.
There you go.
I didn't say it. Y'all said it earlier. I didn't say it. Okay.
I said that because it's the truth. Alexandria can be the greatest city in Louisiana. We're in the center. We should be the center attraction of the state. Yes, when they're coming down 49, hey, we need to stop in Alexandria before we get to Lafayette, before we get to Baton Rouge, on our way to New Orleans. How can we create those new Lafayettes, those new Baton Rouges, those New Orleans in the center? We're in the center. Everything's got to go through or around us to get to where they're going. To Texas, to Oklahoma, to Arkansas. They got to come straight through here. And that is the opportunity that we have to create attractions, to create opportunities for new events, to create places and resources for big business, to create resources for small business. And like I said, small business is what funds big business.
Okay, so we're about to break for lunch. I have just one more list of questions we're going to run through. Short-term wins, long-term wins, short terms, 0 to 3 months, mid timeline would be 3 to 6 months, 9 to 12, and beyond would be long. Okay, so let's identify the priorities in terms of the community development. Short term, midterm, or long term?
All. Okay.
What does that look like in the short term?
Short term, you inquire.
We're acquiring, it's right here?
Right.
Okay. Long term,
Long term for your capital projects. Yeah.
I'm gonna clean all this up at lunch, so. All right, branding. Short term, midterm, long term.
It's all.
Yeah.
What can we do in the short term?
And it should be consistent.
Start that one.
And I think you've already started, you know, when we think about how we introduce the new GAEDA. The new GAEDA is here to create Alexandria the Great. You know, I think that's a beautiful tagline to introduce your organization to anybody. How are you gonna do that? Well, and that's why we're coming up with our priority areas. We're doing it through community development, through business attraction and asset acquisition. And that's the story and how you sell the organization and get people engaged. So let's keep going. Business attraction, that'd be all too, because it's ongoing. Short-term wins. Something we could do short-term. In the next 0 to 3 months.
Business incubators.
Just simply
things to
call
help.
businesses and ask them.
Yeah. Helping to,
Understanding what businesses would need.
Okay.
So in the short term, get a sense
So
of
maybe
what
that's the
they
first one, you know?
Maybe the first one.
Yep.
Basically, a needs assessment.
Yes.
A needs assessment.
All right.
Collaboration is gonna be an important part of that, because we don't need to start inventing our own wheel.
Mm-hmm.
collaborating.
So let's say if this is a goal for first quarter 2026, then maybe one of your first goals is to identify an organization to partner with for coming in and understanding that needs assessment. Yeah, so, right. And you know, I'm not plugging anybody's organization in, but you know, we talked about an organization and we talked about figuring out a way we could plug them in. And so for short-term wins and they're in the room, is it something that they can do? I have no dog in the fight, but it's about who shows up and who wants to be a part of the process. And he could have easily left after his presentation, but he decided to stay and to participate, which says that, you know, he has some buy-in in this organization. And if they have resources that can help us in the short run, before we even discuss any other opportunities, let's get that win on the table. And while we're at it, if we're gonna have a first luncheon, maybe we do this quarterly. And maybe by first quarter of 2026, we decide on, if there's anybody else we need to partner with to bring in to do the second, the third, and the fourth luncheon. But that's 2 birds with 1 stone.
And it's important to make public announcements too, as far as our brand, to let them know the things that we're doing. Hey, we acquired this and we have this going on. Making these public announcements or I don't know how you would call it, conference, or news conference or whatever. Announcing these small wins as we get them, and staying relevant and fortifying the brand as we grow.
And I know in our area, we have a morning show that comes on at 5 o'clock every morning. And they, anytime you entertain in the news, if you're a nonprofit entity, you get your free publicity. So you can get those relationships to where you're going to the talk shows that are hosted to give updates. And it's 5 minutes with huge impact. Okay, yeah, you got it.
We do recognize as a media outlet.
Turn the camera around to yourself.
Some of you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is a good stopping point, because what we're gonna do when we come back our last hour is we're gonna come and we're gonna flush this out with our actual strategic goals, and we'll put some tasks behind this, some timelines, and some accountability. Who's gonna be, if we come up with 5 goals, we have 4 board members and 1 executive director, then everybody can be responsible for 1 in the terms of just coordinating and keeping their hand on it. And that's how we individually take accountability and eat the elephant 1 bite at a time. All right?
Rev, now that you're gonna preach, one, eat, just take.
Good food, good meat, thank God. No. God, Lord, I want to thank you for great heart and great minds come together. Amen. Lord, we see the opportunity and we were grateful, Lord, to be a part. So we ask you to bless us out there. Thank you for those who prepared the meal that we were going to fellowship upon. It's in your precious name we pray, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Stand.